we get? Oh no, that's what I want. Hey, Money Low. I just did a video on Spencer Pratt for mayor for LA. I hope y'all vote for him and get that damn Karen Bass up out of there. I just check out that video. I was hoping you came in. So anyway, I'm about to get into it. Yep. I had only a few people in the room, but I love that man ass Money Low. Spencer Pratt ass is out cold using AI. You like Karen Bass? She ain't did shit but destroy LA. What the fuck she did? What she do for black folk? She ain't cleaned up LA. I like Spencer Pratt. But check him out. Check that video out and you'll see, but I like him. All right, we getting back to our people and its greatness in us. The concept of hidden identity among black folk encompasses a range of historical and contemporary experiences largely stemming from the need for survival, safety, and self definition in the face of systemic racism and erasure, genocide. Because everything they threw against us, we have surpassed it and overcame it. Because you can't kill what's chosen by God. This includes the loss of ancestral knowledge, the practice of racial passing, and the reclaiming of distant, often overlooked identities. Many in the Black and African diaspora experience a hidden identity due to the disruption of slavery, which erased knowledge of African villages, languages, and family histories. But most of us was already here anyway. We didn't come from Africa. We're the slave ships. We were all at one time. This was all one land, and we were everywhere, and that's a fact. But not all of us came from Africa. Historically, some fair-skinned Black Americans engaged in passing as white or other races to escape segregation, Jim Crow, or to gain access to better jobs and education. I remember my grandmama telling me that she was the first black ever hired at this kind of like elite store, Hudson's. It was called Hudson's. Now it's Macy's bought it out years ago, like in the 80s or whatever. And they thought my grandmama was white, and she would tell them that she just had a tan. You know what I mean? And just hearing that, but that's one thing to pass for a better job. The American one drop rule historically classified anyone known that had black ancestry, forcing a single identity on individuals who, may be biracial or whatever. But my thing is, I still go by that rule. Hell, if you mix, you still black. Facts, because the black gene is dominant and the white gene is recessive. That's science. Vericon taught on that very well. Um, some researchers and families are uncovering erased histories of Black individuals who are part of Native American nations. Because before the Indians, Native Americans, they were dark skinned. But through intermingling and married, when the pilgrims came here, it lightened our skin. But there were many Black Indians. Now, this is something I didn't know. There was a term like Appalachian Africulation was created to highlight the often overlooked presence and contributions of Black people in the Appalachian region. The term refers to a group of mixed race, often Appalachian families who identify with long hidden or stigmatized with roots connecting African, European, and Native American ancestries. W.E. Du Bois, who was Black Boule, and I used to love that man, got all his books. But when I realized he was Black Boule, a gatekeeper for the Illuminati, I was done with him. But he termed the phrase two-ness of African Americans being both Black and American a form of double consciousness that can lead to maintaining a private identity separate from a public one. Reclaiming traditional African names is a growing, powerful way to heal from the trauma of slavery and enforce the hidden identities that follow. Y'all, well, bitch, you feel the vision, you can get the fuck out. For real. You ain't got to be here. If it's boring to you, goodbye. I'm just giving historical facts. You can go. Modern DNA technology is being used to fill in the gaps in family records, helping many African Americans reconnect with their specific roots. I said what I said. Don't worry about my goddamn my goddamn batteries. Money, look, you must not be here. Let me time your ass out. How about that? How about I just do that? All right, let's get in these videos because I want this to be short. Now, this is what Trump. Damn, it's gonna be shorter than I thought. Said. Chosen people, and this is their land. And 140 that this is God, chosen people, and this is their land. And 144,000 has already been awakened, regaining the memories, and soon have their powers. When this solar flash hit the cabal, won't know what to do with them. These are the first fruits. 144,000 is sealed and awake. I don't think the cabal understand what this means. The chosen ones are already awoke and gaining all of their memories. This means bad business. They know what's coming. Just picture this: 144,000 Black people with superpower godlike abilities. Me and Putin try to warn them we're dealing with something we don't quite understand. They are ancient gods, primordial. Y'all keep calling that man racist. You know what? And I'm about to you know what? Let me change this title on here. I need to get back on. Okay, that's what we do that. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, we want to keep these. Oh damn. Oh fuck. I done deleted the damn video. Damn, I deleted the video. I'm gonna move that later. Let me see. I think I want to show this. The same reason you should do it for your kids. Because I know police, when they get the education, they not only educate, they know how to train and protect the assets. You get the American jurisprudence book. Oh, here it is. This one education. I know y'all don't let me read. I'm not older and new curse, new course of the birth certificate.
lights, huh? Oh, that's what's the alerts. The emergency is your vehicle doesn't have a non-registration. Yeah, it's private property. You're registered to the trust, not the QC trust. Look at your white shirt. Call your sheriff. I need somebody in honor. You have a license? Nope. Right to travel. Passport. You in trouble. Oh, are you gonna identify yourself? I'm a Moore. All right, you have your license? I'm a national. Okay. Step back there. Let me get my paperwork. We are not in a democracy. This is a republic. Yes, I don't know your stuff. Okay. Okay. That's explain that you're dumb down. Okay. So the republic, there's two governments on the back of the dollar bill. Second government that's called Illuminati, which is the pyramid, the all seeing. And then there's the United States Corporation that's on the right side of the back of the dollar bill, which is the Q's Trust of Queen Elizabeth, who you took an oath to protect the assets of their trust.
Bam. That's who we are. I'm keeping that video. I was going to keep that last one. I can't believe I deleted it. I can't believe I deleted it. This is my girl, Janet Elliott. I love her.
We need to stop believing the myths. In this country, what we call education is actually indoctrination. And it takes us from the age of 5 to the age of 18 to thoroughly indoctrinate people so that they will believe in the myth of white superiority. And it is a myth. Now, you can't do that while you're teaching that Columbus discovered America. Right. There were black people on this continent 4,000 years before Columbus was born. Right. We teach black history in the schools. They said it started with slavery. It all came from the same black women. 300,000 to 500,000 years ago. The human race began with black women.
Facts.
My cousins, and you are all my cousins. Make no mistake about this. We are all 30th to 50th cousins because we all have the same black grandmother back there 300,000 to 500,000 years ago. We need to stop believing the myths. In this country, what we call education
It's indoctrination. That's a fact. Even the Asians got more sense of who we are than we do.
They don't want you to believe that. They don't want you to know who you are because you're Indian. Not those type of Indians. The ones in America. Not the 7-Elevens. In the reservations. You were indigenous to this land. And you own this promised land.
Facts.
But they don't want you to know that. Black people, they don't want you to believe that. They don't want you to know who you are because you're Indian. Not those type of Indians. The ones in America. Not the 7-Elevens. In the reservations.
Facts.
You were indigenous to this land. And you own this promised land. But they don't want you to know that. Black people, they don't want you to believe that.
You know what? And I'm going to move this video when I do a whole thing on Black Indians. Let me bring that up. Put down the Black Indians. Okay, we're going to delete that. Damn, I didn't know I had all the. I must be on the wrong shit. Okay, here we go. Let me delete that. All right, here we go.
If you're black, they don't want you to know what we are going to say now. But let's be clear, you were never meant to hear it. Not here, not now, not in the way it's about to be laid bare. The system thrives on your distraction, on your scrolling, your exhaustion, your endless cycle of stress and entertainment. Because the moment you stop, the moment you pause long enough to ask the right questions, the truth comes rushing back like a flood. They don't need whips anymore. They have Wi-Fi. They don't need overseers. They have algorithms. And those algorithms are working overtime, not just to keep you entertained, but to keep you docile. Facts. And asleep. This is not a conspiracy. It's psychological warfare. It's cultural colonization in digital disguise. While you are busy laughing at memes or arguing about celebrities, your history is erased, your future is redirected, and your mind, the most powerful force on this planet, is being chained in silence. The question is, what really happened? How did Black people go from kings, queens, warriors, and inventors to a people constantly told their worth begins with slavery and ends in survival? And more importantly, how do they break free now? In this video, let's find out. If you think slavery for Black people has ended, you don't know about the digital plantation that exists secretly. Yes, the plantation never vanished. It merely rebranded. Where once whips cracked in the fields, now glowing screens hum in bedrooms, classrooms, and pockets. Where iron shackles bound wrists, algorithms bind attention spans. Where overseers once watched from horseback, corporations now monitor every click, swipe, and pause in the scroll. This is the digital plantation, and its power is both invisible and relentless. Black teens spend 7 to 10 hours every day consuming media, more than any other demographic. But what exactly are they consuming? Not empowerment, not liberation. Instead, the feed drips a steady stream of violence, hypersexuality, trauma, and chaos. The result is predictable. Black children are 3 times more likely than white peers to encounter trauma online. And while their eyes are glued to screens, their literacy declines. In some American cities, more than 80% of Black 4th grade boys cannot read at grade level. None of this is accidental. Entertainment replaces education by design. Distraction replaces discipline. Ignorance becomes engineered. And because every like, every tap, every pause is data, this data is recycled back into the system to tighten the chains. What once was physical enslavement is now psychological capture. The plantation has evolved, but the purpose remains the same: to control Black potential before it becomes power. But there's an even deeper strategy. Chains alone don't guarantee control. To truly enslave a people, you must erase their memory of greatness. Facts. In the earliest classroom lessons, Black children are told that their story begins in chains.
Facts.
That Africa was darkness before Europe brought light.
Facts.
Their ancestors were savages without civilization. But history tells another truth. Long before Europe had castles, Africa had empires that made the world tremble. The Mali Empire under Mansa Musa produced the wealthiest man in recorded history.
Facts.
His influence stretching across continents. In Kush and Nubia, Black royalty built pyramids, studied the stars, and developed advanced systems of governance. Timbuktu housed libraries overflowing with manuscripts on medicine, mathematics, law, and philosophy, while Europe was still burning women as witches.
Facts.
But this legacy was systematically
And
buried.
living in
Images of
caves.
kings and queens were
Living in
replaced by
caves.
caricatures of slaves. Even so, resistance never ceased. Denmark Vesey plotted a rebellion in Charleston. Nat Turner led an uprising that terrified slave owners. Queen Nzinga fought Portuguese invaders for decades, refusing to bow to colonizers. Their names are rarely spoken in classrooms because empowered ancestors create empowered descendants. And that empowerment threatens the system. The erasure didn't stop with history. It continued into the modern era. Even after freedom was proclaimed, suppression took new forms. Black inventors and thinkers transformed the world. The traffic light, the gas mask, the elevator system, the home security alarm, the blood transfusion methods, and thousands of others were all birthed by Black hands and minds. Yet how many of these names are celebrated in mainstream education? Few, if any. George Washington Carver created hundreds of agricultural innovations that reshaped farming across the globe. Benjamin Banneker, a self-taught mathematician and astronomer, helped map Washington, D.C. Dr.
Facts.
Patricia Bath revolutionized ophthalmology with groundbreaking surgical technology. These were not isolated geniuses. They were part of a continuum of Black brilliance. And yet, their recognition is fleeting, their stories hidden. Even in culture, theft is routine. The Dogon people mapped star systems centuries before telescopes existed. African drumming rhythms birthed
And the
jazz, blues,
And the Dogon people, through their oral history, would tell you they came from the planet Cyrus.
rock, hip-hop, and much of global popular music. Yet the source of these contributions is stripped, rebranded, and resold. The genius remains, but the credit does not. This deliberate erasure fuels a dangerous myth that Black excellence is rare instead of ever present. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. What's more, the strategy of suppression wasn't just
Thank you,
silence,
Associate
it was
Ministries.
violence.
Thank you.
Whenever Black communities began to prosper, flames followed. Tulsa's Greenwood district, known as the Black Wall Street, was a thriving hub of doctors, lawyers, and entrepreneurs. In 1921, it was burned to the ground, with over 300 murdered and thousands displaced. Survivors never saw justice. The Colfax Massacre of 1873 saw more than 100 Black men killed for attempting to exercise the right to vote. In Rosewood, Florida, an entire Black town was destroyed in 1923. In East St. Louis, 1917, white mobs slaughtered hundreds of Black workers in a calculated act of racial cleansing. These weren't riots, as history books suggest. They were massacres. They were acts of war against Black progress, and they were deliberately erased from the public consciousness. Because if widely acknowledged, reparations wouldn't just be debated.
Come
They
on.
would be demanded.
Come on.
Now, when confronted with these realities, many say the system is broken. But a closer look reveals a harsher truth. The system isn't broken. It's operating exactly as intended. Education is designed to fail Black children.
Facts.
Schools in Black communities are chronically underfunded, staffed with more police officers than counselors, and stocked with outdated textbooks. Suspensions and expulsions target Black students disproportionately,
Facts.
funneling them from classrooms into the prison system. This isn't neglect, it's the school-to-prison pipeline. Policing, too, is rooted in control. From slave patrols of the 18th century to modern police departments, the badge has always served to instill fear in Black communities. The continuity is undeniable. Even in the digital age, control adapts. Facial recognition software misidentifies Black faces up to 100 times more often than white ones. Predictive policing algorithms disproportionately target Black neighborhoods regardless of actual crime rates. The FBI's COINTELPRO, once tasked with dismantling Black liberation movements, has evolved into algorithmic surveillance, monitoring activists, suppressing hashtags, and burying posts. The plantation modernized, but the master's hand remains. However, when brute force is not enough, division completes the work.
Facts.
Colorism, classism, tribalism. These poisons were deliberately seeded within the Black community. On plantations, Lighter skin was given preference over darker skin.
Facts.
That hierarchy survives today in music, movies, and even hiring decisions. In wealthier Black communities, class barriers separate the successful from the struggling, as if individual escape erases collective struggle. Across continents, African, Caribbean, and African American identities are pitted against each other, mocking accents, belittling traditions, debating who has it worse. Meanwhile, the real enemy smiles, because a divided community cannot unite against systemic control.
Facts.
Media amplifies these fractures. Violence, greed, and hypersexuality trend, while messages of knowledge, unity, and liberation are buried. Artists who glorify destruction are celebrated. Those who preach empowerment are silenced. A distracted and divided people are manageable, but a united, conscious people are unstoppable.
Facts.
And this is the moment of fear for the system, when Black people remember who they truly are. Not slaves, but survivors. Not victims, but visionaries. Not powerless, but divine. Melanin is not just a pigment, it is memory. It carries the echoes of empires, the legacy of resistance, the brilliance of survival. To awaken is to realize that the chains are not permanent, and that the plantation thrives only on ignorance. The most dangerous Black person is not the wealthiest or the strongest, but the one who is fully awake.
Come
When the
on.
Black mind is conscious, it shakes empires.
Come on.
When Black people unite across divisions, no system can contain their power. That is why suppression is constant. That is why distraction is endless. Because an awakened people cannot be controlled. But awakening is not enough. Awareness without action is paralysis. Knowledge must lead to building. Therefore, Black people should reclaim knowledge. They should read the books buried from curricula. The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson.
A great book.
Europe Underdeveloped Africa by Walter Rodney.
Great
The
book.
Autobiography of Malcolm X. And Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Knowledge is not optional. It is weaponry. Secondly, Black people should reclaim economics, circulating the Black dollar within the community. Buy land, build credit, invest in education and business. Every dollar spent is a vote for liberation or for oppression. Then, culture should be reclaimed. You should reject the divisions of shade, class, and nationality. Celebrate every accent, every tradition, every shade of melanin. Restore language, music, art, and family structures that were fractured by colonial design. That's how Black people will be able to reclaim the future. Youth should be mentored and taught about technology. Black people should prepare the next generation not just to participate in the future, but to own it. AI, coding, and new industries cannot be left as tools of exploitation. They must be claimed as instruments of liberation. After knowing all this, know that you were not meant to know about this. You were not meant to awaken. The system counted on your silence, your distraction, your fatigue. But here you are. That alone is resistance. They tried to bury you under lies, under shame, under erasure, but they forgot the truth. Buried seeds do not die. They rise. And so does the Black legacy, again and again. The plantation has shifted form, but so has the resistance. The only question that remains is not whether the system can be beaten. It is whether you will rise to join the building of something greater. Because waking up is not the finish line. It is the starting point. The next step is yours. Why do you think your history books started your story with slavery instead of empires like Mali, Kush, or Timbuktu? Who benefits when Black children spend hours online, entertained, but leave school unable to read at grade level? In the comment section below, share your thoughts on what would happen if Black people across the world decided to unplug from distractions and truly unite. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to...
Man, listen. That video there. Man. Mm, mm, mm.
To distract us from the fact that they just made a law banning the boycott against Israel. We're owned by Israel. Wake the fuck up. They're the synagogue of Satan. They're not the real Jew.
Oh, that is true. Damn, I hit the wrong thing. That is true.
Not the real Jews.
Let's start over. Because
Israel
we are
and
the
the
real
Mossad
Jews.
used Charlie's death to distract us from the fact that they just made a law banning the boycott against Israel. We're owned by Israel. Wake the fuck up. They're the synagogue of Satan. They're not the real Jews.
Facts.
Now we're enslaved. That is it. Welcome to tribulations. Israel and the Mossad use Charlie.
Because we are the real Jews. We always were. Old Testament, all black.
Okay, this video is specifically for people that come from what you call black, colored, all these other terms that they came up with, right? Why haven't you gone to the BLM? And no, I don't mean Black Lives Matter. That was the look left so that you only find that when you search for it. BLM is the Bureau of Land Management. Almost every single last one of you that are born in this nation have property that you don't even know about.
Facts.
It's hidden in the Bureau of Land Management. You see, what happened is when they were taking everybody out of their estates and out of their trusts and forcing everybody to move along the land, what they were actually doing was having people abandon their properties. Now, the thing about this is that if you go to the Bureau of Land Management, what you're going to find in the name of your great-great-grandfather, your great-great-grandmother, is property that you have yet to claim. So what you need to do is figure out what it is of the name of the state that they were living in when they passed and go and search for the properties that are held. There's territories for every single last one of your families. Not a single last one of you has to be homeless. Not a single last one of you has to struggle for bills, because I guarantee you 100% that there is an estate sitting there waiting to be claimed by a member of the family. And if no other members of your family have claimed this yet, that is yours to do so.
Facts.
On top of that, any business that is operating on your estate is now something that is going to be funneling your life, fueling your pockets, and getting you the type of ownership that you're supposed to have. Let's get it together. Okay, this video is specifically for people
and
that
it's
come
there.
evening, Paris, Buzzy.
Oh, shoot. And it's there.
So people with dark skin getting off. Black skin. Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall. How tall? You know? Well, what matters?
Seven feet would be probably conservative. Huge cigar-shaped ship appeared over the airport base. These cigar-shaped ships were over a mile in length. One of them landed on the airport landing strip area. The back of this craft opened up, and several hundred young men with huge, heavy weapons came out of two sides of the ship and formed a protection line around the ship. And the people at that airport base commander had a meeting with the individuals that were aboard this ship. And this particular race that landed those ships and that are seen in these huge cigar-shaped ships, they were a black race. They looked like African Americans. They were about 6'4", 6'5", huge weapons. And if you've ever seen a race of people that were conquerors, that had never been conquered, they've got this look about them. American, that is exactly extraterrestrials had as they informed these people at the American Airforce Base that not only were they from a militaristic society, but they had control a large portion of the galaxy that we live in.
Now, and you remember Farrakhan teaching about the mothership, and the Dogon tribe in Africa will tell you from their oral history that they came from the planet Cyrus, the star Cyrus.
The reason it matters that Jesus is black, yeah, I know what you're saying. It doesn't matter. It matters, bro. We stole an entire identity from these people. There was a race that was chosen by God, okay? When God was playing this Sims game, he chose a black character, okay? Because that most closely related and identified with his personality. He wanted to be humble. He wanted to come as a meek person. Bro, the entire Bible is a redemptive story about black people.
Facts.
From going from last to
Facts.
you're gonna be first, bro. It's the entire Bible is like the redemption of a race that was being used for slavery since the beginning of time. Think about this. This is why black people are superior to white people. This is why they can run faster. They have harder heads. This is why they can jump higher. They're the chosen race of God. It's so in your face, dude. The Egyptians with the cornrow hair, and now where are our Egyptian people, bro? I don't have any Egyptian friends. I've never met an Egyptian dude. It's like they just disappeared, dude. What happened to that whole race of people? It's black people, okay? When you read the Bible, the reason it doesn't make sense to you is because you're not replacing the word Jew or Hebrew with black person. Black people. You have the most sacred, beautiful position. You have the biggest shoes to fill. I am so sorry for everything. You'll all see. You'll all see when we get up there. You'll see when we get up there and Juicy J is playing. Okay? You'll be like, oh, oops. Crazy dude on TikTok was right. It's everywhere in history. White people whitewash history wherever we go. We
Facts.
can take that for ourselves. Bro, the Egyptians had electricity, okay? The Luxor, the Black Pyramid, that shoots up light into the sky. What do you think that's about, dude?
Facts.
They had electricity, dude. The Nile had all the elements for batteries and electricity, like the copper and the salt water
Facts.
and the limestone and everything. Look at the jet towers, dude. Anyway, Jesus is black and he's coming back. The reason
That part.
it matters
That
Jesus
part.
is black.
I think I'm gonna end with this. Let me see. How long is this? Oh, this is too. Yeah, I won't have to do that at another time. That's gonna have to be by itself.
Is America great again? America is not what America was. America is not great again. Wake up. They want you to believe it. It's bullshit. Go talk to people in Canada. Go talk to people in China. Go talk to people in Europe. They're laughing at us. We are the joke of planet Earth, and it starts with the leaders being put into office. There's no one who can help us. If you are watching this video today, if you are watching this video right now, this means that you are part.
This is Beast of Kenya. So I'm gonna go.
As America crumbles, as the system shakes, as the old powers lose their grip, black people are right. And Abraham, being the friend of God, questioned him,
Hey, Mr. Handsome.
would you destroy the righteous along with the wicked? Now he had already told Abraham his judgment. So Abraham should have said, okay, God, I know you know better than I. But Abraham said, wait a minute. You're going to destroy the righteous along with the wicked? He said, well, Abraham, why don't you go down there, see if you can find 50
They sure did.
righteous, and I'll save the city.
He said that.
He came back and he said, Lord, I couldn't find 50. He said, well, go back and see if you can find 40. Abraham came back and
He
said,
couldn't find one. He couldn't find one.
Then try 20, then try 10.
Yep.
And then Abraham, nearly exasperated, he said, go back and find me one other than what I said. And Abraham came back and said, I couldn't find one.
That's right.
So the book says, on that very day, fire and brimstone fell on Sodom and Gomorrah. And then the scripture says, as it was in the days of Noah and in the days of Lot, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. People were partying in that day. They were giving in marriage. They were dancing. They were having a good time, man, when the flood came. And in Sodom, they were carrying on their sodomy when the end came. Now we're at a time that America must reap what she has sown.
Facts.
And the mercy of God extended to America and to you and me is just
Yeah, I like him too. I like Pastor Gina, but this is fair time.
when God gives his pronouncement, he gives a time for people to repent. And there's no sense in repenting after the destruction starts coming. It's a little late.
Facts.
In the days of Noah, when the cloud was forming, people didn't pay no attention to it. But when it rained 1 day, 2 days, 3 days and nights, 4 days, then the people remembered what Noah was saying. They
Have
ran
been on
to
the
the
wall
mountain
by the
of
sensation. Okay, I will. I will. Thank you.
That's the condition that America is in, the world is in, and we are in. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that our sojourn in America was in fulfillment of divine prophecy. Now, there's no sense, pastors, in preaching about the greatness of Jesus and not tying things to the utterances of the prophet and how the prophet's utterances fit the world condition today. We always talk about what happened back then. People go to church and get put in a time machine. It's all right. It's all right to know what happened back then, only if it's going to give you an indication so you can understand what's happening right now. You are in the church of what's happening now. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we are in the Bible from Genesis to Revelation.
Facts. Facts. Facts.
America is in the Bible It's not under the name America, but it's there. How could a country be as great and powerful as this nation is, and the prophets who could see didn't see America? How could a whole nation of people enslaved by another be in prophecy, and the prophets didn't see it all exist in the prophets that he saw right to the end, but didn't see Negroes? Well, if they saw us, under what name did the prophets see us? Under what name did the prophets see America? And where are we now in the time of the judgment? The question is, why are millions more movement? I'm going to get to that. But I have to lay this because of what's happening in New Orleans, and I really want everybody to understand what's going down. But where are we in prophecy? From Genesis to Revelation.
Facts. Facts.
15th chapter of Genesis, around the 13th, 14th, and 15th verses. God is talking to Abraham, and he's saying to Abraham, know of a surety that your seed will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. And they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. But after that time, I will come. And I will judge that nation which they shall serve. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance and go to their fathers in peace.
That's a fact of social ministries.
In a good old age. Now, many of the Jewish people feel that they fulfilled this in their sojourn in Egypt, when Moses was sent to them to remove them from the bondage of Pharaoh. But then in Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter, around the 18th verse, God is now talking to Moses. And these are the words. And I will, future tense, raise them up a prophet like unto you, Moses. And I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. Well, then the Judaizers are out of that, because Moses fixed that one. But then the Bible says, I'm going to raise them up, a future people, a prophet from among their brethren, like unto you, Moses. Well, nobody in history fulfills that prophecy in modern times but you and me and the government
Facts.
of America, white people and their children.
Facts.
Now just listen, because don't need to get yourself too hot clapping. Just let me see the burning up of the cells of your brain. Thinking. Now, family, look. Most black leaders say we were in chattel slavery 250 some odd years. Error. 64 years of hidden history.
Come on, come on.
That turned a black man into a Negro and a black woman into a destroyed creature.
Come on.
That's why the white man uses the number 64 for the $64 question or the $64,000 question. We never asked him, why 64? He knows. But he's not going to tell you.
Wow. And before Dick Gregory died, it was 64,000 missing black women. Wow. Wow. I'm about to end this. I got to go to bed, but.
So I'm going to tell you what I was taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, and you can check it out in your libraries, that the first slaves did not come in 1619, but in 1555 on a ship named Jesus. The first slaves that were brought here were not no jungle ones. They were the kind of slaves wise in science and mathematics, such as were builders of civilization. See, I'm in the lodge. That's right. And I want to talk to the lodge because I want you with me.
That's good, associate.
The Millions More Movement, the 10th anniversary celebration of the Million Man March. And it won't be successful without Baltimore. It won't be successful unless Baltimore turns out as Baltimore should. And I want to talk to you about why you should. But family, in the book of Daniel, he talks about some gold and silver vessels that were in the temple at Jerusalem.
Come on.
And they were taken out of the temple and brought into Babylon.
Come on.
And spoiled with wine and strong drink. Daniel also talks about the Hebrew boys. Daniel, Azariah, Hananiah.
Yes, Money
Another
Low.
one who named Zephaniah, something like that. I don't know. But when they got to Babylon, the Babylonian king changed their name, their tongue, and
And Babylon is America. Come on.
them to eat of the king's meat, something that they never ate when they were at home in the Holy Land among the holy people. Their name was changed.
Come on.
Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro.
I am going to listen to it.
If the seed of Abraham is going to receive
Oh, I am
a
going to.
prophet
Okay.
the like of Moses, then if you look at the Jesus of 2,000 years ago and the prophet Muhammad of 1,400 years ago, there is some similarity, but side angle side don't equal side angle side, so there's not congruence there. What I'm saying is, the Jews were not in a strange land. They were in their own land.
Come on.
The Arabs were not in a strange land under a wicked king like Pharaoh. They were in Arabia in their own land, and they were under the rule of ignorance, not some superpower overpowering Jesus, and God raised Muhammad, gave them scripture, but they did not fulfill. A man like Moses, even though Prophet Muhammad brought a law in the Quran, and Jesus spoke of the highest manifestation of law, and said to the Jews that were against it, I didn't come to change the law.
I came to fulfill the law. Come on. Come on.
In the law. This is stuff that as it begins to unfold, you see how magnificent the Bible is. If it's taught properly and understood properly, it is a roadmap for salvation for the people of God. And I want you to follow this because I'm going to move very quickly. Here we are, 450 years in America. From 1555 to 1955, 400 years. From 1955 to 2005 is 50 more years. And in this country, we have been afflicted every day, every week, every month.
Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for the comments. Hit that like button, please.
In America. Right? Every leader that stood up for us, they either killed them, imprisoned them,
Facts.
deported them, got rid of them, so that nobody could change the condition that white folks put us in. So you are not now any different than the way the slave master fixed us 400 years ago. Because during that 64 years of hidden history, he was breaking us.
Facts. Facts.
Robbing us of a name, a language, a culture, a history, a religion, a God, a country, and the memory of what our fathers built.
That's true.
In contributing to the march of civilization. So in the lodge, you understand that the master builder was hidden. Where? By some ruffians and brought on a westerly course and buried in the
I agree.
country in a shallow grave. But he was a master architect, a national director of the Million Homes. Is in the house, the Reverend Dr. Becky. What is it? Cute.
Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Y'all have a great night. I got to get up and go to work. I'm so sleepy, y'all. Have a good night. And I'm going to listen to that song.